Hi, this is Monique Pym from Reliqa, and you're watching Spotlight Report.
Did you neutralize the shame?
Monique,
Hi.
thank you so much for joining Spotlight Report today
Oh.
for a quick chat.
Of
It really
course.
is an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, darling. So, here we are,
Here we are.
day 2 of 3.
Oh yeah.
We've made it to Sydney from Melbourne. I was there with you yesterday as
Yes,
well.
yes.
How are you feeling at this particularly soggy Sydney halfway point?
Soggy, and it's the wet in the air, the humidity. Ugh. It's okay. Spirits are high.
Yes.
This situation is, it could be better, but look, we definitely just. I was literally having this conversation with our crew earlier today. Like, I'm just counting my lucky stars to be here in general. Like the fact that we've been on this ground here at Centennial Park so many years past, pretty much every year that that Good Things has been running, we have been on the ground. We have been the punters in the ponchos, like watching the bands, and the fact that we're here now is just, everything else doesn't matter. You know, the rain, everything. It's just exciting to be around and to be one of the artists. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, kindred spirits.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel the exact same way.
Right?
And you actually just read my mind in my second question. I was going to reference the fact that I've heard you say many times how regularly you and the boys attend as punters in the past, just, you know, like me too.
Yeah.
And now that you're living life on the other side,
Oh yeah.
what it's been like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, it's just honestly a matter of gratitude, really. Like, I don't really feel any different in terms of passion for the bands and the artists who are here than I did a few years ago when we were just punters. I mean, not just punters. We've been working our way for a little long time. Like, this has been a long time coming, a long time in the making, and it's kind of just like one of those full circle moments, which is really special. Yeah. Just lots of gratitude, you know? Yeah, so exciting.
That's a really, really beautiful way to put it. And I think you've got to have gratitude in this world for every privilege that you're afforded.
Absolutely.
And again, you've just absolutely this is good. We're in symbiosis. This
We really
is
are.
great.
We know.
So for me personally, I have followed Reliqa for a long time. I really, truthfully adore your music, and I firmly believe, as do many, many others, that your star was always destined to shoot. However, I imagine supporting Baby Metal last year on their national tour would have been one of those pivotal moments.
It truly was. I still think about it to this day. Like, we were literally just, we still find ourselves comparing each show. It's funny, it became a blueprint for our shows, like because that really was that major step up. That was one of those big hurdles we took. Like, we'd played some incredible shows before that. We played with Carnival, we toured like the Monolith Festival, you know, some pretty epic adventures prior to Baby Metal, but that really just felt like a big turning point in terms of the professionality of our stage show. So, you know, in terms of having crew behind us, in terms of having the large crowd response and being able to feed off those, not only like, you know, the 300 to 500 cap rooms, but like those massive thousands and thousands of people. And those sorts of experiences, they prove themselves really worthwhile for shows like this. Like, even though you don't necessarily know how many people you're going to have in front of you, because obviously on a day like this where there's clashes and a million different bands playing, and I'm just grateful for whoever shows up, but no matter how many people show up, that experience there was so helpful in terms of learning how to really engage with an audience. Oh my god. And that band, and just the venues, the fact that we played Horden Pavilion, which is just down the road from here actually, but that we've been punters at for so long, it's just it all is really touching, I think.
And probably a wee bit surreal, as well as like, along with the aesthetic that Baby Metal carry, and they're like, you know, just the whole thing would have been like, oh my gosh, this is my life.
Yes, and the crowd, that they sort of followed on with that aesthetic as well, and I don't think we have yet to have a crowd that is that on. You know what I mean? Every single person, I'm talking thousands of people, front to back, hands up when you ask them to, like, you know, jumping, dancing, like everyone was just electric. And I think that that's so like, I'm still riding that high, and it was bloody a year ago, you know what I mean? Like, so I can only hope that eventually, you know, when and if we are headlining shows of that capacity, that, you know, I think I'm going to think back really fondly on that time as like, you know, again, the full circle completes itself. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, somewhat segueing, so from the amazing turning point in your performance and touring life cycle, 2024 has been a monumental year for you as well, with the release of your second album. Of course, you've got your EPs that you still love.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But Secrets of the Future has came out in May, I believe it was, end of May.
End of May.
And it is really an encapsulation of what you were saying there. Firstly, Reliqa's sound is so deep and multifaceted and rich.
Thank you.
And what strikes me every time I see you is how you are able to capture that and then emulate it in your live performance. Particularly in an open air format, like you've got here, where you're on a stage that you're sharing. So everyone else's needs and wants are needing to be met as well. You nailed it yesterday, like phenomenal. With that in mind, what considerations do you have to make in terms of your production to replicate your sound?
That is such a great question, and it's a lot of things. Obviously, like practice is one of them, because as you know, there are a lot of moving parts in our music, tiny moving parts going on, and genre diverse. So like I need to be like kind of trained in everything from like, you know, heavies to pop to, you know, rap. And so like it's definitely challenging. It keeps me on my toes in terms of practice, and all of us, like all of the band members as well. But we've built a really amazing team behind us. Like Chris Plancato, the producer of the album, he really built it. Like, I mean, he helped us build this soundscape that is not only translates on the album, but I think it really boosts the live aesthetic as well. Like it just, I mean, at least in my experience, like listening back to front of house audio, things like that, it just blends. Like I think it just adds this nice little flavor to what is otherwise, you know, a pretty dynamic set. But I think it is the glue that holds all the instruments together. And having a really great front of house engineer, Kai Blomley, he's been our regular go-to touring front of house engineer and a good friend of ours as well. He really helps, you know, like the mix is everything, especially these outdoor venues. Like it's so difficult to really like bring it back down to earth in what could otherwise just be reverberating out into space, you know what I mean? So I think that kind of combination of practice and having like a really good foundation from the beginning and having good crew and like all of those things, like I said, tiny moving parts, but I think like they all contribute to a great show. And also the audience too. Like I mean, you wouldn't really know it, but like having the right audience really helps the sound feel energetic as well, I think, because you're really feeding off each other.
Absolutely. And that was absolutely replicated yesterday in your performance. And you were talking about, you know, the when instructed, clapping along and everything. You nailed that as well.
Thank you.
You know, so never sell yourself short. And you know, even from very, very early on in the piece, Reliqa sound, and I guess a more obvious example, your voice backed by that phenomenal, in sync, completely cohesive and unified as one band behind you, has been likened to giants of the genre such as Spirit Box, for example.
Legends,
as a little closing extra piece of gratitude, I imagine.
We love gratitude here.
Circling back to gratitude, it's all about the circles.
It really is.
What is it like for you waking up in these moments and hearing these grand comparisons and going, wow, this is me, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I've dreamt of? What does that mean to you?
Like, you've really hit the nail on the head, like, oh my gosh. You have a way with words, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's like I said, it all just comes back to gratitude, because this is a privilege to be able to do what we do. There are so many talented people out there, more talented than me. I mean, not that I'm selling myself short, but you know, there are people that are working so hard every day that don't necessarily get that shooting star opportunity. They don't get to grab it for whatever circumstances they may have. So the fact that like the stars have aligned for us, and I'm definitely not pinning it down to luck either. There is a lot of hard work involved in getting to that level, and we're still grinding, and we're still, you know, working really hard alongside the team that we've built. But like I said, like, yeah, building that team and having those opportunities and making those connections, like sometimes it's about being in the right place in the right time, you know, like we don't know what show it was that we played like back in 2019 that caught someone's attention to then, you know, like it's sort of like all these different multiverses that we're creating, like the different timelines. Like this timeline is just, I'm so thankful to be a part of it, and just you know, waking up every day and just realizing, even on stage, you get lost in the motions. You'll be like, sort of thinking about this, thinking about very logically, but then I'll get a moment. For example, during our song Two Steps Apart yesterday, which you might have seen when I was on the keys, we were just finishing out the song, and I just like looked up to the sky, and I just like looked out to everybody, and the wind was blowing, and I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it was
like astral projection.
Yeah,
you go out of your body and you're like,
it felt really, really special. So we just really don't take anything for granted, and all of that that really thankful energy is projected out into our live show. That's why we all look so happy when we're on stage, despite the angry music we play. So yeah, I think I hope that we create this kind of like positive energy, and that's sort of like, hopefully that will inspire, you know, more people to rise up through the ranks too. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Monique, this has just been the greatest pleasure. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. And best of luck with everything. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.